it's tougher on myself, and it's tougher with the press and everybody saying, well, he's never won the 500. And that's the question you always ask, and you get all the stuff about the 500 because I came so close and haven't won it yet. And I've been a contender to win it so many times. I didn't think I had it won till the checkered flag fall, and I didn't win again, so I got to try the 15th year. So what the hell?
Dale, I don't believe it!
I ain't never won the Daytona 500.
And you still ain't?
I ain't going to Disney World either.
Unbelievable!
Daytona, ain't it?
I mean, I just can't believe it. You get in this situation so many times and still can't win.
Yes, you can win this race, and yes, they'll remember you from here on out about winning the Daytona 500. It's awesome. It's one of the most awesome races I ever won. You can win races down here. All the races you win, anywhere, it's not like winning the Daytona 500.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan, along with Professor Benny Parsons. Today, we celebrate President's Day, although a lot of racing fans consider this Monday after the Daytona 500 as Dale Earnhardt Day. And as you saw earlier, that celebration began Monday morning at the ultimate motorsports attraction, Daytona, USA. That's where Earnhardt's Daytona 500 winning car will reside for the next year. And, of course, Bill Weber was there to watch the historic moment.
Dale Earnhardt's first day as the reigning Daytona 500 champion began early. An 8 a.m. meeting with the media before visiting his race-winning car and many of his fans at a packed Daytona, USA. The overnight hours gave Earnhardt, his car owner, and crew chief a chance to reflect on the overwhelming feeling of accomplishment.
It's all sunk in, and it's really real. Just had a lot of people call last night and called a lot of people, but just so, you know, Hornaday called me, Ronnie Bouchard called me, people that means a lot to you, good friends, and talked to all my family, all my kids. Everybody's great.
To be able to be with Dale Earnhardt to win it was unbelievable, you know, as a car owner to win. And, you know, the emotions was heavy, you know, the tears was flowing from all of us, and it was great.
When you make a change like I made 14 months ago, it's no different when you make any kind of change in any kind of business. Show some signs of success, there's this little voice that haunts you that says, did you make the right move? Can you win races here? Can you do it with this group? Can this group do it with you? What's going on? Why hadn't you won? Well, hopefully a lot of those little voices is gone now.
Earnhardt's win is a blend of private and public pride. A celebration for the man, another step forward for the sport.
I think it's a very popular win for the whole sport. I think some of the quotes from some of the different drivers, needless to say, each one of them would prefer to win the race himself. But if he couldn't do it, I think just about everybody out there was kind of pulling for Dale.
Emotionally yesterday, I was drained emotionally. I don't get that way very often. My batteries ran down because I wanted it so bad for Dale and Richard. Emotionally, I wanted it so bad for them, I just can't. It's hard to put into words.
Even the day after Dale Earnhardt's dramatic win in the Daytona 500, it's still hard to put all the emotion and excitement into words. But perhaps the local paper said it best. First, at last. At Daytona, USA, I'm Bill Weber.
Thank you, Bill. Benny, how about that Earnhardt? Could you believe the way everybody lined up on pit road to congratulate him?
Yes, I could, John, because that happened to me in 1975, and I won the Daytona 500. But that was before the days of high fives. They just basically, as I rode down pit road, all the crews just kind of clapped as I went by, and that was probably the most special moment of winning the race. And I'm sure to Dale Earnhardt, that was one of the most special moments of the day when all those guys came out and touched flesh with him. He told me this morning that some of those guys almost knocked his arm off as he rode down through there.
You know, he and his crew had been saying all week long, we got a good car, we got a good car. As I watched that car during the race on Sunday, it wasn't just a good car, it was a great car, wasn't it?
It was a great car. And you know, Dave Marcus, I talked to Dave Marcus yesterday afternoon, and I guess he was the guy that made the first lap in that very car, that number 3 going there. When they built the car, he went to Talladega, Marcus did, and tested the car. He said, the first time I took our car down in the corner and turned the steering wheel, I knew that was a great car. He said, because that car went where you wanted it to go. It didn't have a mind of its own. It followed your lead.
And Earnhardt's pit crew also helped out that last pit stop. I thought was crucial. You had to get out front for those last 20, 25 laps, didn't you?
Track position is so doggone critical at Daytona. Watch as he comes in. Got Rusty, Jeremy, and Earnhardt. And you know, Earnhardt has a new rear tire changer this year. Hollywood or Mark Armstrong has gone over to the 2-car. He's changing the rear tire on the 2-car. They go down about exactly the same time, but Earnhardt is a little bit farther down pit road, and he will beat them all out. And that was the key to winning the race, along with Skinner going up and knocking him by those guys when he got alongside of him.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have passed him out there. I think that car would have been just extremely wide. Don't you think so?
Real wide.
You know, most of the former Daytona 500 winners in the field, Benny, didn't really have a very good day. The defending champ, Jeff Gordon, looked like he might have a shot at repeating until his engine went sour late in the race. 3 of the former winners were all basically taken out of contention at one time, and that was during this pit sequence when Dale Jarrett got into Jeff Bodine, and then Derek Cope, the 1990 winner, made contact right there with Jeff Burton.
It looked to me like Burton pulled in his pit way too early. You know, I was trying to get out, and he was pitted quite a ways up there. I saw Jarrett turn around. I was trying to watch him, and I guess I didn't see him coming. And then, you know, he just tried to get in a little early, I think, and we clipped tail over there and hurt the car. You know, we didn't have nothing left after that.
Jarrett and I just collided. You know, he was leaving pits, and I was coming in, and he didn't see me coming, and he swerved out and hit me in the side and messed my car up. I guess it messed his up too. It's a shame. He was running good, and we had a really good car.
I was trying to hold my line and give Mark Martin a chance to get out of his pits, and somebody was coming in, I guess, and they decided they needed that space. Or maybe it's my fault. I don't know.
Now, Benny, you know, they've got that headrest up there. You really can't see. If they're in your traditional blind spot on your car, you're not going to see that car behind you. You don't know they're there unless someone tells you, right?
Well, you have to look at your rearview mirror. You have to check in the mirror as you pull out of the pits. But I think Dale Jarrett, as he was going out, we talk about track position so much. See, Mark Martin leaving, well, he knows if he follows Mark Martin, he's going to lose track position. And he had a run on Mark. He's going to beat him out of the pits. As he starts to pull around Mark, right there, Jeff Bodine is coming in the pits, and they collided. And there are the 30 cars. Watch as he hits the 99 as he starts to leave the pits. Once again, 30 car, Derek Cope, his pit stop is over. He's starting to leave. And again, Jeff Burton is pitting about 1 or 2 pits in front of him. He gets there, he dives in. You know, who's at fault? Everybody's at fault, or nobody's at fault, because those things are just going to happen on pit road.
Well, Kenny Schrader headed into the 500 with a cracked sternum and a shot at a $1 million bonus in Winston's No Bull 5 program. He fought the pain all race long and finally wound up in the 4th position. And that puts him in line for the next No Bull 5 bonus.
I'll tell you what, we got to get us a teammate. It was really nice seeing Rusty and Jeremy. You know, both of them have just kind of struggled at some of these places, and they both were there right all day and worked together. And we're going to do that same deal next year with someone.
If you break your sternum next year on Thursday, you going to run the 500 on Sunday?
Hell yes.
You know, Benny, he gets through the 500 okay, but I remember Earnhardt saying that, you know, Daytona's no big deal for an injury like that. Rockingham this weekend, what's it going to be like for Schrader?
Rockingham's going to be rougher than Daytona, although those bumps in Daytona, and as soft as they spring those cars, as much as the car bumped at Daytona, I would imagine that hurt Schrader. And I think when I talked to him, you could see the pain in his face. Yesterday was a tough day on Schrader. Now then, I think by the time they get to hopefully by the time they get to Rockingham this weekend, he will be A-okay.
Well, Rusty Wallace had the kind of race in the Daytona 500, I'm telling you what, that he has to have dreamed of for all his racing career. Wallace has gotten a reputation over the years of not running well in the restrictor plate races, but it appears as if those days are over. Rusty drove to a strong 5th place finish with a little help from his teammates.
Man, Jeremy's car and my car ran great all day long, so what a 2-car team effort this was. We're finally back on track, I believe, Benny.
Was it great to have a teammate there when you needed one?
You damn right, because it's war out there, man, and it's every guy for himself. When that 18 car got underneath me coming off a turn 2, I said, oh, man, we got a problem here. But finally, Jeremy helped me out. A couple cars got behind me, and we shot back to the front again, so it was a real shootout.
You know, a lot of people had their doubts about the 2-car team working, Rusty and I, and it showed today that we can do it, and we're going to do it. And he and I both have become good friends over the winter, tested a lot. And it's a class act for both teams.
Sunday marked Rusty's 16th start in the Daytona 500, and you can see he pretty much had a career day, at least for him. In his first 15 appearances in the Great American Race, Wallace posted a best finish in 7th and had led a total of 7 laps Sunday. He led 4 laps. And you know, Benny, we have seen what teammates can do on a restrictor plate track. Rusty and his new teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, worked very well together. Is that going to be the next superpower in NASCAR?
Well, I don't know. I think that Jack Roush with his 5 teams are going to have something to say about that. And we haven't heard from Yates yet. You know, Kearney Irwin, Dale Jarrett, they're going to run good before the year's over. I think that the Rusty Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield, that was the first team. Penske South was the first team to work with the Taurus. And I think that really helped him in the Daytona race. Now then, we know that Roush, Yates, the other 4 teams have got some work to do to catch up. But let's face it, they will catch up.
But it's the Daytona 500 is only one slice of what this 33-piece pie that is awarded at the end of the season with over $1 million in the Winston Cup Championship. How did it get off this year? I mean, what do you think about that Daytona 500, just overall?
It was terrific. I think that our 50th anniversary, NASCAR, ours, I'm part of it, we're all part of it. NASCAR's 50th anniversary got off to a great start. Really and truly, there couldn't be a better driver win as far as the fan reaction is concerned. Again, folks, I don't care who wins. I hope that you realize I don't care who wins, but for the sport, it was great that Earnhardt won the race. He finally got that monkey off his back, and that's all we're going to talk about for the next 2 months. Earnhardt won Daytona.
I don't think it was a monkey. It was this gorilla, and it's been sent back to the zoo. Benny, stick around. We got more to talk about in just a few minutes. Still to come on RPM tonight, we run close together with the Speed Demons in this week's Speed Shots. And when we come back, we'll hear more from the man in black who's sitting on top of the racing world once again.
RPM Tonight is being brought to you by Land Rover Discovery, the 4x4 authorities.
Dale Earnhardt won a single race record $1,059,105 with his victory in the Daytona 500. In fact, a record $7 million purse meant big paydays for just about everybody in the race. Second place was worth more than $500,000 to Bobby Labonte. Well, I'm sure Earnhardt appreciates the big payday he came home with. If you took away that money, he probably wouldn't really mind because now he's finally won the Daytona 500. And you know, when I look back at all the different times Earnhardt has been interviewed, the talk he had with Bill Weber Sunday night is one to remember.
You come down pit road after winning that race, it was so awesome, the lap, riding around, coming back, all the cars coming back, congratulating you, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, all these guys. You got that feeling, you got the teary eyes, and then you come down pit road and not one team, but all the teams were out on pit road high-fiving. Wore my hand out. Got down, done me a donut or two in the 500 out there in the green grass and come in victory lane. It's awesome. It's one of the most awesome races I ever won. You can win races down here. All the races you win, anywhere, it's not like winning the Daytona 500. I've won 30 races here. The Daytona 500 was great. It overshadowed all of them.
You've won everything else. Is this the biggest moment of your career?
It's the first. Everybody down here this week been saying, hey, it's your race, this is your year, this is your year. Watching Elway win that Super Bowl pumped you up. It gives you that confidence, that determination. We came in here, that 3-team, Larry McReynolds, Richard Childress, everybody come in here with that determination, that look. That's what it took.
And this takes you there because last year, Richard Childress put together the dream team, Earnhardt and Mick Reynolds, and the team didn't win.
Well, it just took a few more ingredients. Larry and just took a little bit to work with the car, and he and I just kept getting better and better. My confidence in Larry's always been there, and I think the confidence in me's always been there. But just the mix, just the understanding of what really we're looking for. We came down here with 3 races under our belt with, what we can tune on with that car on making it better, and we did that. We tuned on that car, and that's what won that race is just, that minor tuning.
This week you were named to NASCAR's 50 greatest drivers of all time. So was your father. What do you think he'd be thinking right now? Well,
I'm sure he's proud, and hopefully he's... Yeah, that was an honor to me, but it was really made me feel good that Dad was in it too. I mean, that was the 50th greatest drivers. I mean, pretty impressive to be a part of that, and your dad too. And then you go out and win the Daytona 500 on Sunday. That's pretty good weekend.
And he'd be thinking that's pretty special for you.
Pretty special for both of us. For the whole family. Mom called me in Victory Lane. Winning this race now, they can't say anything. We've got them all. We've got all the marks up there. We can talk about winning all the races and, that 7th championship. The 50th anniversary of NASCAR, win the Daytona 500 that year, 1998. go out for that championship. We're going for that 8th championship. The confidence level in this race team is just tremendous.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
You know, Benny, what a great interview. And I think of all the times that, like, I've asked Earnhardt questions and gotten a, yeah. I mean, just, it's unbelievable what winning the Daytona 500 does to open up the personality, isn't it?
I was really shocked. I've seen Earnhardt last night, again this morning, and all you got to do is just prod him a little bit, and he just starts talking and keeps on talking because he was so genuinely happy. And you're right, normally Earnhardt, he's got those one-word answers, but, I mean, he is just so incredibly happy at finally winning Daytona.
But I bet he and his crew aren't happy about losing that race car for a year. They'd love to have that for the other 3 restrictor plate races, wouldn't they?
I'm sure they would. As a matter of fact, Larry McReynolds told me, he said, I'd give anything, just anything to get those 4 shock absorbers. You know, really, shocks are now the black magic in making those cars go around Daytona, Talladega, and about all racetracks. And Larry said, we have spent hundreds of man-hours on those 4 shocks, getting them exactly right. And now they're sitting there for 1 year in Daytona, USA, and he can't get his hands on.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon finally gets his car back that won the Daytona 500 last year. Of course, I thought he was going to get up there and put up a fight with Earnhardt in the late stages on Sunday, but I think he dropped a cylinder, dropped a valve, as a matter of fact.
That's exactly right. And Jeff Gordon was a card to be reckoned with at the end of the race, and just about the time he looked like he was going to get up there and mix it up with Earnhardt, boom, he goes on 7 cylinders. And then he gets an unlucky break. He gets his number drawn out of the hat, and they had to tear the engine down for NASCAR.
Well, and I was talking to the crew today, and they've got a good car, the one that actually won at Rockingham last year for this race coming up, and that's the one they're going to take back. And speaking of Rockingham, Benny, stick around, because coming up next, we're going to pick Benny's brain to find out how the rules changes will affect this weekend's race at the Rock.
Today in NASCAR history is brought to you by 76 NASCAR High Performance Motor Oil. Works for NASCAR, works for your car.
The 1975 Daytona 500 looked to be another duel between David Pearson and Richard Petty, and it was in an unusual way. After a cracked radiator put Petty 8 laps down, Pearson began to run away with the race. But Petty decided to help second place Benny Parsons draft his way up to Pearson. And on the final lap, the Silver Fox spun on the backstretch. The result? Benny Parsons, who had almost quit racing altogether, won the Daytona 500, February 16th, 1975.
Congratulations, Benny.
Thanks, Chris.
What did you think when you went by Pearson?
I said, you know, this can't be happening. This can't be happening.
You know, Benny, I've asked you about races that you've won, and you say, well, I can't remember everything about them. But I bet winning the Daytona 500 back in 1975, you can remember every lap, can't you?
No, I really can't. I remember Pearson spinning out, and I couldn't believe it. But that's what I was talking about when I was talking to Economac, was I can't believe that Pearson spun out, because you never saw that 21 car in any kind of trouble. And as I went down the backstretch and saw him spun there, I'm riding along. Man, can you imagine David Pearson spun out? Wait a minute, I just won the Daytona 500.
Was that the biggest moment of your career?
Oh, yeah, by far.
Now, Benny, coming up this week at your hometown track, Rockingham, North Carolina Motor Speedway, making some rules changes. What's it going to do to the cars? Because it's taking away downforce, right?
I talked to a lot of guys, John, and they said that it really didn't change the car a whole lot. I think that it will after about 30 or 40 laps. What they've done, folks, they've reduced the rear spoiler by about 1 inch. They've raised the front spoiler or front bumper, front air dam by about 1 inch, which is trying to reduce the downforce on the cars. It's going to make the car want to slip a little bit more getting in and make the car want to push a little bit more in the corner. But again, we're only talking about that much, and the guys can change springs and shocks and help that situation. They told me it didn't hurt the car a great deal. In 50 laps after a long run, that's when it's going to start making a difference.
Everybody says that the Taurus, the body style, produces a lot of downforce on its own. Does that mean the Tauruses might actually be the car to beat this weekend?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we don't have any idea, because I don't think the teams really know a great deal about the car. At Daytona, they were trying to figure out where to position the car on the chassis to get the maximum help, downforce, or aerodynamics. They really don't know a lot about this car. The Thunderbird, they've worked on it for a long, long time. in 3 or 4 months, we'll have some of these answers, but not at Rockingham, not in Atlanta. It'll take half the season before we really have a lot of answers.
Now, Benny, we got a late-breaking story, and Bill Engel is gone from the Stavola brothers and driver Hut Strickland, and we understand that Bobby Allison has been named to work on that team as an interim consultant. So, man, we're one race in the season and already some changes going into Rockingham. And Benny, we got some email for you. I want you to take a look at now. And this email is from Dave Hildebrand of Las Vegas, Nevada. He asked, what was the NASCAR inspector looking for under Earnhardt's car after the race?
Well, Dave, that's a position that the transponder for the electronic scoring is located on the car. And I guess that he was turning it off. It'd be interesting to see if the transponder is still on the car sitting in Daytona, USA. I don't know if he was able to do anything, but that's where the transponder is located, and he was either turning it off or taking it off the car.
Talked to a NASCAR official today, and they said they weren't quite sure exactly what was going on. But if you'd like to email us, visit ESPN.com on the World Wide Web. Go to the auto racing page, and at the bottom of that page, you'll find a link to take you to our email page. And you can also reach Benny through NASCAR Online. So, wow, Benny.
Wow.
Getting up there.
I didn't know that.
You didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
Benny, thanks a lot, and it's good to have you back from Speed Weeks of Daytona. We'll talk to you next week about the Rock.
Okay, John.
When we come back, we'll take you on all the wild rides of Speed Weeks 1998. Speed Shots is next.
Daytona 500, all right. I love you.
Check out Monday's Fast Fact. In the last 12 Daytona 500s, Dale Earnhardt has completed all but 6 laps, 5 of those last year. We'll be right back. Not only was it a big weekend for Dale Earnhardt, but the top rider on the AMA Supercross Series also made some big news. Jeremy McGrath won at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis Saturday night, giving him 64 career Supercross victories. That is a brand new series record. McGrath, by the way, beat Larry Ward to win the 250cc race. McGrath rides a Yamaha. On Tuesday's show, Dr. Jerry Punch will begin his round of house calls. That's at 7 Eastern. We'll see you then. Good night, everybody.